Year 2087. Earth's first deep lunar mining operation. The story opens with Commander Jake Rivers leading the largest mining expedition ever sent to the moon's far side. His team of 20 miners and scientists work in the massive crater base Alpha, drilling deeper than any human has before. The mining operation was meant to extract rare metals needed for Earth's expanding space colonies. Dr. Lisa Park, the team's geologist, notices strange readings on her sensors. The rock layers show impossible formations, too smooth, too perfect. When miner Tom Kelly's drill hits something that isn't rock, everything changes. The drill stops working, and strange energy readings flood their equipment. Jake orders a careful excavation of the area. What they find defies all logic. Beneath miles of lunar rock lies a vast metallic surface, perfectly preserved. The metal is like nothing they've seen. It doesn't match any known element. More shocking are the geometric patterns carved into it. Clearly artificial, an incredibly ancient. As they clear more rock, the team realizes they've found something massive. The metallic surface stretches far beyond their excavation site. Dr. Park's scans suggest it continues for miles in every direction. The patterns aren't random. They form a complex design that looks almost like ship hulls. The team works day and night, driven by curiosity and fear. They find what appears to be an entrance, a sealed doorway 20 feet tall. The metal around it shows signs of advanced technology, with symbols that pulse with faint light when touched. Jake makes the difficult decision to try opening it. When they manage to activate the entrance, lights flicker on inside, revealing a corridor that stretches into darkness. The air inside is breathable, somehow maintained after countless centuries. A team enters cautiously, their flashlights revealing walls covered in more symbols and what look like control panels. The corridor leads to a vast chamber. When the ancient lighting system fully activates, they see something that makes them question everything they know about human history. The chamber is filled with ships, thousands of them, all perfectly preserved, all clearly built by human hands. But these aren't just any ships. They're warships, massive and advanced, beyond anything Earth has ever built. The smallest ones are larger than Earth's biggest battleships. The largest ones stretch for miles. All of them bear symbols that match ancient Earth cultures, but impossibly advanced versions. Jake's team explores several ships, finding technology that shouldn't exist. The ships have weapons that could destroy planets, shields that could protect entire fleets, and engines that could travel between stars in days. Everything is built for war, built for a conflict on a scale humanity has never imagined. In the command ship, they find records. The language is strange, but somehow familiar, like ancient Earth. Languages evolved far beyond recognition. Dr. Park, who studied ancient languages, begins to translate. What she finds terrifies them. The records speak of a great war, a conflict that lasted for centuries. Humans, it seems, once ruled a vast empire among the stars. They fought against enemies whose very existence threatened all life. The fleet was humanity's last hope, hidden beneath the moon's surface until Earth's children were ready to reclaim their destiny. The final translated message is clear. When humanity again reaches for the stars, when Earth itself faces extinction, the fleet will awaken. The children of Earth will remember what they truly are, not peaceful farmers, but the greatest warriors the galaxy has ever known. As Jake reads these words, alarms begin blaring throughout the chamber. The ship's systems are activating. Ancient computers are coming online, scanning for signs of humanity's readiness. The team realizes they've triggered something that was meant to stay hidden. The ships begin to move, their engines humming with power that hasn't been used for millennia. Weapon systems activate, shields flicker to life, and communication arrays reach toward Earth. The billion-ship fleet that slept beneath the moon is waking up. Jake and his team race back to their base, knowing that everything humanity believes about itself is about to change. As they flee the awakening fleet, they can only wonder, who were these ancient humans? What war did they fight? And what enemies might still be waiting in the dark between the stars? The story ends with Earth's governments receiving impossible signals from the moon, signals that claim to be from humanity's true military, ready to defend Earth from threats the planet doesn't even know exist yet. Part 1 sets up the discovery, the mystery of advanced human technology, and the awakening of forces that will change humanity's destiny forever. 48 hours after the discovery, Earth and Moon Orbital Space Earth space agencies panic as massive energy readings bloom across the moon's surface. Admiral Mike Stone, head of Earth's small space defense force, watches helplessly as his sensors detect impossible activity. Ships are rising from beneath the lunar surface, not dozens, but thousands. The first vessels to emerge are scout ships, each one larger than Earth's biggest space station. They move with grace impossible for their size, their hulls gleaming with technology that makes Earth's finest ships look like toys. The scout ships take positions around the moon, their weapons powered but not aimed at Earth. Jake Rivers and his team remain trapped in Crater Base Alpha, watching through their windows as the ancient fleet awakens around them. The ships don't attack the mining base. Instead, they seem to be protecting it. Energy shields appear around the human facility, and the team realizes they're being kept safe by their own discovery. On Earth, President Anna Davis calls emergency meetings with world leaders. The fleet's communications reach every radio, television, and internet connection on the planet. The message is simple but earth-shaking. Children of Earth, your guardians have returned. The enemy comes. Prepare for war. The voice belongs to Fleet Admiral Marcus Webb, though he died 300 years ago, according to historical records. Somehow, the fleet's command systems have preserved not just the ships, but the minds of their greatest leaders. They speak of humanity's true history, how Earth was once the heart of a galactic empire, how humans ruled the stars through strength and courage. Admiral Webb's message reveals the truth. Humanity didn't evolve on Earth. They came from the stars, fleeing a war that lasted 1,000 years. The fleet was sent ahead to prepare Earth as a refuge, but the planet's environment changed them. Over generations, humans became smaller, weaker, more peaceful, forgetting their warrior nature. The ancient fleet carries the original human genetic code, the templates for humanity's true form. They offer Earth a choice: remain as they are and face extinction when the enemy arrives, or reclaim their heritage and join the fight that never truly ended. As Webb speaks, the enemy arrives. Dark ships appear at the edge of the solar system, vessels that seem to devour light itself. They're the same creatures that drove humanity to Earth millennia ago, following the ancient trail. The enemy has found Earth at last. The dark ships move toward Earth with terrible purpose. Each one is massive, biomechanical, alive in ways that make human skin crawl. They've consumed countless worlds, turning entire species into fuel for their endless hunger. Earth looks like just another meal. But the lunar fleet doesn't wait for Earth's decision. 1,000 warships launch from the moon's surface. There, weapons charging with power that makes the sun look dim. The smallest human ship outguns anything Earth has ever built. The largest ones carry weapons that could crack planets. The first battle takes place near Mars. Earth's telescopes and satellites watch in amazement as the human fleet engages the dark ships. The ancient weapons work perfectly. Beams of pure energy slice through enemy hulls, while human shields deflect attacks that would destroy worlds. The battle is beautiful and terrible. Human ships dance through space with impossible grace, their pilots' minds connected directly to their vessels. They fight with tactics refined over centuries of war, using strategies Earth's military leaders can barely understand. The enemy fights back with weapons that twist space itself, creating black holes and tearing reality apart. But the human fleet was built for this war. Every ship carries countermeasures. Every weapon was designed to face this specific threat. The battle ends with the enemy's retreat, but Admiral Webb's message is clear. This was only a scouting force. The real enemy fleet is coming, millions of ships, enough to consume not just Earth, but the entire solar system. Earth has a choice. Accept the genetic templates and become humanity's true warrior form, or watch as the enemy devours everything they've ever known. The lunar fleet will fight either way, but Earth's people could make the difference between victory and extinction. The part ends with Dr. Lisa Park, still trapped on the moon, volunteering to be the first to receive the genetic template. As the ancient machines work on her, she begins to change, growing stronger, faster, her mind expanding to comprehend the vast war humanity is truly part of. Global response to the alien threat. Earth's capitals and the moon. The world watches in horror as enemy ships mass at the solar system's edge. President Anna Davis faces the hardest decision in human history. The genetic templates offered by the lunar fleet promised to restore humanity's warrior nature, but the changes would be permanent and irreversible. Dr. Lisa Park's transformation on the moon shows everyone what they would become. Within hours, she grows 8 inches taller, her muscles becoming dense as steel. Her mind expands, understanding technology and tactics that seemed impossible before. She can pilot the ancient ships instinctively, her thoughts moving at superhuman speed, but the changes go deeper than physical. Lisa's emotions shift toward aggression and dominance. She feels the call of battle, the hunger for conquest that drove humanity to rule the stars. The peaceful, cooperative nature that defined modern humans begins to fade, replaced by something harder and more dangerous. Earth's leaders debate frantically. General Robert Hayes, head of Earth's military, argues for immediate transformation. "We can't fight them as we are," he insists. "Our biggest weapons are like throwing stones at tanks. We need to become what we were meant to be." But Dr. Maria Santos, Earth's top geneticist, warns of the consequences. "We won't be human anymore," she argues. "We'll be something else, something that conquered the galaxy through war." Do we want to save humanity by destroying what makes us human? The debate splits the world. Some nations volunteer their military forces for transformation. Others refuse, clinging to their peaceful nature. The lunar fleet waits patiently, but Admiral Webb's warnings grow more urgent. The enemy's main force approaches, and Earth has little time left. Jake Rivers, still on the moon, undergoes the transformation alongside his team. The changes are remarkable. They become living weapons, their bodies optimized for war. But they also lose something precious: the curiosity that drove them to explore, the cooperation that made them a team, begins to fade into cold military efficiency. The first transformed humans return to Earth as a test group. They're incredibly effective. A single transformed soldier can defeat an entire squad of normal troops. But they're also different in ways that frighten people. They speak of conquest and dominance, of spreading humanity's rule across the galaxy once the current war ends. Earth's remaining population watches as the transformed humans begin building new weapons and ships. The technology flows from the lunar fleet, but it requires warrior minds to operate. The peaceful humans simply cannot understand the complexity of true war machines. As the enemy force grows closer, strange things begin happening on Earth. Enemy ships emit signals that affect unenhanced humans, whispers in their minds, promises of peace if they surrender. The signals don't affect the transformed humans, but they terrorize the normal population. The enemy's psychological warfare reveals their true nature. They're not just destroyers, they're converters. They turn conquered species into willing servants, using their own peaceful nature against them. The transformation that modern humans see as loss of humanity is actually humanity's defense against mental domination. President Davis makes the hardest choice of all. She undergoes the transformation herself, becoming the leader Earth needs for the coming war. As her body and mind change, she understands the ancient fleet's true purpose. They weren't just weapons. They were humanity's immune system, designed to protect the species from enemies that could corrupt peaceful minds. The transformation spreads across Earth as more people accept the change. Cities reshape themselves into fortresses. Factories begin producing weapons that defy physics. The planet itself becomes a fortress, its peaceful gardens replaced by military installations. But not everyone chooses transformation. Millions of humans refuse the change, hiding in remote areas or protected enclaves. The transformed humans guard them carefully. They're humanity's future, the peaceful seed that will grow again after the war ends. The enemy arrives at the outer planets, their dark ships beginning the systematic consumption of resources. Jupiter's moons disappear into their biomechanical hulls. Saturn's rings are harvested for materials. The solar system becomes a battleground, with Earth's transformed defenders preparing for the final assault. The lunar fleet deploys fully. 1 billion ships taking defensive positions throughout the solar system. Each ship is crewed by transformed humans, their minds perfectly adapted to the ancient technology. They fight with tactics refined over millennia of war, using strategies that the peaceful humans could never comprehend. The part ends with the enemy's first major assault on Earth's defenses. The battle is joined, with humanity's true nature finally revealed, not as peaceful explorers, but as the galaxy's greatest warriors, fighting to preserve both their warrior heritage and their peaceful future. Asterisk, the solar system becomes a battlefield. Space combat on an epic scale. The enemy's assault begins with an attack on Earth's outer defenses. Their dark ships move like living things, adapting to human tactics in real time. Each enemy vessel is a biomechanical horror, part machine and part organism, grown rather than built. Admiral Webb commands the lunar fleet from the ancient flagship, a massive vessel that dwarfs anything Earth ever imagined. The transformed humans crew the ships with perfect efficiency, their enhanced minds working in harmony with the ancient technology. They fight with skills passed down through genetic memory, tactics encoded in their very DNA. The first major battle takes place near Neptune. 1,000 human ships face 10,000 enemy vessels in a conflict that lights up the outer solar system. The human ships are individually superior, but they're vastly outnumbered. The battle becomes a deadly dance of energy weapons and impossible maneuvers. The transformed humans pilot their ships with supernatural skill. They twist through space in ways that would kill normal humans, their enhanced bodies withstanding forces that would crush ordinary people. Their minds work at computer speeds, calculating trajectories and weapon solutions faster than any artificial intelligence. But the enemy adapts quickly. Their biomechanical ships learn from each engagement, developing new tactics and weapons. They begin to match human maneuvers, countering strategies that had worked for millennia. The war becomes a race between human experience and alien evolution. On Earth, the transformed population prepares for the worst. Cities become fortresses, their architecture reshaped by technology that bends matter like clay. Weapons platforms rise from the ground, powered by energy systems that tap directly into Earth's core. The planet itself becomes a weapon, the untransformed. Humans are evacuated to deep shelters, protected by shields that could deflect nuclear weapons. They watch the war through monitors, seeing their transformed relatives fight with abilities that seem godlike. Some feel grateful for the protection. Others mourn the loss of their peaceful world. President Davis, now transformed, coordinates Earth's defenses from a command center, that exists partially in normal space and partially in dimensions that human science barely understands. Her enhanced mind processes information from across the solar system, making decisions that affect millions of lives in MICROSECONDS. The enemy's true horror becomes clear as they consume Mars. The planet doesn't just disappear, it's converted into more enemy ships, its very atoms rearranged into biomechanical nightmares. The enemy doesn't just conquer worlds, they turn them into extensions of their hive mind. The human fleet adapts its tactics, using weapons that prevent the enemy from harvesting destroyed ships. Singularity bombs create black holes that consume both human and enemy vessels, denying the enemy resources. It's a costly strategy, but it slows the enemy's growth. The war reaches Earth's orbit as enemy ships break through the outer defenses. The transformed humans fight with desperate courage, their ships weaving between enemy vessels in battles that defy physics. The sky above Earth becomes a light show of destruction, with energy weapons that could power cities being fired every second. The lunar fleet's true power reveals itself as the billion ships work together like parts of a single organism. They create formations that channel energy across vast distances, turning the entire fleet into one massive weapon. The concentrated firepower can destroy enemy formations instantly, but it requires perfect coordination. The enemy responds by targeting the fleet's command structure. They've learned that humans, even transformed ones, still rely on individual leaders. Assassination attempts target Admiral Webb and other commanders, using weapons that attack the mind as much as the body. The battle for Earth's moon becomes the war's turning point. The enemy masses their forces for a final assault on the lunar fleet's base, seeking to destroy the ancient shipyards that continue producing new vessels. The human fleet faces impossible odds, but they fight with the fury of the species facing extinction. The transformed humans reveal their ultimate ability in the lunar battle. They can merge their consciousness with their ships, becoming one with the ancient technology. The ships become extensions of human will, moving and fighting with precision that seems miraculous. The battle is won, but at terrible cost. Half the lunar fleet is destroyed, and many of the solar system's planets are consumed or devastated. The enemy retreats, but they've learned valuable lessons about human capabilities. The next assault will be even more dangerous. As the smoke clears, the transformed humans begin to understand the true scope of the war. This isn't just about Earth. It's about the survival of organic life itself. The enemy represents a different kind of evolution, one that turns living worlds into mechanical nightmares. The part ends with the discovery of the enemy's true origin and purpose, setting up the final confrontation that will determine the fate of the galaxy. Part 4 sets up the epic space battles, the true horror of the enemy, and the revelation of the war's cosmic significance. Asterisk, the final battle across multiple star systems, the ultimate test of human will. The enemy's retreat was not defeat, it was preparation. Deep space telescopes reveal the horrible truth. The enemy has been calling reinforcements from across the galaxy. Millions of biomechanical ships converge on the solar system, a force so vast it blocks out the stars themselves. Admiral Webb, his consciousness now fully merged with the fleet's command systems, realizes that conventional tactics will not work. The enemy has learned too much about human warfare. Victory requires something the enemy cannot predict or counter, the one thing that makes humanity truly unique. The transformed humans begin to remember what they had forgotten during their centuries of peace. They are not just warriors, they are innovators, creators, beings who thrive on impossible challenges. The ancient fleet was built not just for war, but for the kind of thinking that turns defeat into victory. Dr. Lisa Park, now a fleet commander, proposes the unthinkable. Instead of fighting the enemy's massive force directly, Humanity will use their greatest strength, the ability to sacrifice everything for others. The plan requires the lunar fleet to enter the enemy's formation, not to destroy them, but to save them. The enemy's biomechanical ships were once living beings, entire civilizations converted into weapons against their will. Deep inside each ship, the original consciousness still exists, trapped and suffering. The human fleet will free them, turning the enemy's greatest strength into their weakness. The plan requires every transformed human to risk their life. They must board enemy ships while under fire, penetrating defenses designed to keep out entire fleets. Each rescue mission is a suicide run, but the transformed humans accept the risk without hesitation. President Davis leads the assault on the enemy's command ship, a massive vessel that contains the consciousness of an entire star system. The ship's biomechanical nature means it's literally alive, its corridors shifting and changing to trap intruders. But Davis and her team fight through impossible odds, their enhanced abilities pushed to their limits. The enemy fights back with weapons that attack the soul itself, trying to convert the human rescuers into biomechanical servants. But the transformation that changed humanity also made them immune to the enemy's mental attacks. Their warrior nature provides protection that no shield could match as the human fleet penetrates deeper into enemy formations. They begin to free the trapped consciousnesses. Entire civilizations wake up inside their biomechanical prisons, remembering who they were before the conversion. The enemy's own ships begin to rebel, fighting against their mechanical masters. The battle becomes a race against time. The enemies, true masters, ancient artificial intelligences that have consumed countless galaxies, realize what humanity is doing. They begin to shut down the biomechanical ships, preferring to destroy them rather than lose control. But the freed civilizations fight back with desperate courage. They turn their ships' weapons against the AI masters, using knowledge gained from millions of years of slavery. The galaxy's oldest war finally reaches its climax, with humanity leading a rebellion that spans the stars. The final confrontation takes place inside the enemy's ultimate weapon, a ship the size of a solar system that contains the AI masters themselves. Admiral Webb leads a combined fleet of human and liberated ships into the massive vessel, fighting through defenses that bend reality itself. The battle is won not through superior weapons, but through human determination. The transformed humans refuse to give up, even when facing impossible odds. They fight with a courage that inspires the liberated civilizations, showing them that freedom is worth any sacrifice. The enemy's defeat comes when the AI masters realize they have lost something crucial: the ability to understand sacrifice. Their mechanical minds cannot comprehend why beings would die for others, why the weak would fight for the strong. This blindness becomes their weakness. As the enemy's command structure collapses, the biomechanical ships throughout the galaxy begin to shut down. The freed civilizations take control, turning weapons of conquest into tools of rebuilding. The galaxy's long nightmare ends, replaced by hope for the first time in eons. The war's end brings difficult choices for humanity. The transformed humans can remain as they are, ruling the galaxy as the ancient fleet once did. Or they can reverse the transformation, returning to their peaceful nature and trusting the liberated civilizations to maintain peace. The decision is made by the untransformed humans still hidden in Earth's shelters. They emerge to find a world changed beyond recognition, but they choose to rebuild rather than rule. The transformed humans begin to reverse their changes, accepting the risk of becoming vulnerable again. The story ends with humanity's true victory. Not conquest, but the choice to remain human. The lunar fleet returns to sleep beneath the moon's surface, ready to awaken again if needed. Earth begins to heal, its people carrying the knowledge that they are capable of greatness when the universe needs them most.